You are the most powerful man in this square today. You're also the most hated. The axe feels heavier than usual in your hands. The crowd screaming fills the morning air like a living thing, hungry and restless. You can smell the unwashed bodies pressed together, the fear, sweat of the condemned man kneeling before you, and the metallic tang of the blade that catches the early sunlight. The prisoner's hands shake against the wooden block. His crime doesn't matter now. Your job is simple, clean, quick, professional. The crowd wants blood. The state wants justice. And you're the only man in town qualified to deliver both. No applause waits for you when it's done. To understand how you became the town's necessary monster, we need to go back to the beginning. You didn't choose this job. It chose you the moment you were born into the wrong family. The executioner's trade passes down through bloodlines like a family curse, and your father's calloused hands were the first sign of your fate. Your official duties sound simple enough on parchment. Public executions, torture sessions when the magistrate demands confessions, corpse removal when disease strikes or criminals hang too long in the gibbet, maintaining the town's gallows, keeping the rope fresh and the platform sturdy, the tools sharp. The pay isn't terrible. You receive a steady salary from the town coffers, plus whatever clothes and possessions the condemned carried to their death. A man's final shirt, his boots, sometimes a purse with a few coins. These become yours by right. Death has its perks. But here's where things get complicated. The church needs you to enforce God's law on earth. Yet you're banned from receiving sacraments. You can't take communion. You can't be buried in consecrated ground. The priests who bless the condemned before you kill them won't offer you the same courtesy. You deliver souls to judgment, but your own soul is considered tainted by the work. You're forced to reside outside the city walls, in the executioner's house marked by red doors so everyone knows to avoid it. The state pays for your lodging, but they don't want you sleeping next to decent folk. The tools of your trade require more skill than people realise. Axes for beheading. The weight and balance matter. Too light and you'll need multiple swings. Too heavy and your aim suffers. Swords for nobles who can afford a cleaner death. Ropes for hanging. But you need to know the knots that snap necks quickly versus the ones that let men strangle slowly for the crowd's entertainment. Then there's the specialised knowledge that separates professional executioners from common killers. Where to place the block so the head falls away from the crowd. How to read a crowd's mood and adjust your performance accordingly. The anatomy lessons that teach you which cuts stop hearts fastest and which ones draw out the spectacle. Your training period with your predecessor was like a dark apprenticeship. He taught you more than how to swing an axe. He taught you how to survive the crowd. Crowd control, when families of the condemned rush the scaffold. The politics of public death, because sometimes the magistrate wants mercy, and sometimes he wants a message sent. You learned that botched executions don't just embarrass you, they can get you killed. An angry crowd that watches a man suffer through multiple axe blows won't blame the condemned. They'll blame you. Your reputation for clean, quick work isn't professional pride. It's survival insurance. The strangest part of your education was learning the unwritten rules of mercy. A quick prayer whispered to the condemned. A cup of ale before the walk to the scaffold. Small kindnesses that cost you nothing, but mean everything to someone facing their final moments. These gestures don't make you good, but they make you human. Your predecessor also taught you the business side. How to negotiate with families who want to buy their loved one a quicker death. How to price your services for private executions. How to handle the paperwork that proves each death was legal and authorised. Even in medieval times, death required documentation. The most important lesson came last. You're not a killer. You're an instrument of justice. The distinction matters, even if nobody else understands it. The magistrate decides who dies. The priest blesses the condemned. The crowd witnesses the punishment. You're just the hand that holds the blade. But you're still the one they'll remember when they go home tonight. If you were in his place, could you swing the blade? Every morning starts with the same ritual. You wake up alone, because nobody sleeps next to the executioner unless they have to. Your wife, if you're lucky enough to have one, comes from another executioner family, or from the ranks of prostitutes and outcasts. Normal families don't marry their daughters to the man who kills for a living. The social isolation rules are written nowhere, but everyone knows them. No one drinks from your cup. No one sits at your table in the tavern. No one shakes your hand, even in greeting. When you walk through the market, people step aside, not out of respect, but out of revulsion. You're not just avoided, you're actively shunned. Your children inherit this stigma like a birthmark. They're banned from most trades, excluded from schools, and unwelcome at social gatherings. Other children aren't allowed to play with the executioner's kids. The sins of the father don't just visit the children, they define their entire future. Your bloodline carries the stain of death, and medieval society never lets anyone forget it. The executioner's uniform makes sure of that. You're required to wear distinctive clothing, so people can identify and avoid you from a distance. Sometimes it's a red hood. Sometimes special colours or patterns that mark you as the death dealer. The point isn't fashion, it's warning. You're a walking reminder of what happens to people who break the law. And nobody wants that reminder sitting next to them at Sunday Mass. The legal system creates strange contradictions around your status. Assault on an executioner carries heavier penalties than assault on regular citizens. The state protects you because they need you functional. But this protection comes with a price. You're valuable property, not a valued person. The law shields you from violence, while society subjects you to constant humiliation. Market day reveals the depth of your isolation. You use separate entrances when they exist. You're served last, after everyone else has been helped. Shopkeepers throw your change on the ground, rather than place it in your hand. They won't risk the contamination of touching the executioner's skin. You pick up your coins from the dirt, while normal customers watch and whisper. The church's treatment cuts deepest because it touches your soul. You can attend services, but you can't participate. You stand in the back while others take communion. You watch families baptize their children while knowing your own kids will face the same exclusion. The priests who work with you professionally treat you like a necessary evil. Marriage prospects shrink to almost nothing. Executioner families intermarry out of necessity, creating small dynasties of death dealers. Some executioners marry prostitutes because both groups live outside respectable society. Others remain bachelor outcasts, dying alone in their red-marked houses. The loneliness runs deeper than simple isolation. The same people who cheer when you execute their enemies won't acknowledge your existence when you pass them on the street the next day. You're simultaneously vital and invisible. If you've ever felt judged for doing what had to be done, hit like. The executioner would have understood you. The psychological toll accumulates over years. You develop thick skin out of necessity, but underneath that armour, the constant rejection wears you down. Some executioners crack under this pressure. They become the monsters society already believes them to be. Others retreat into complete isolation, emerging only when duty calls. This is your daily reality, the city's shadow, visible only when the sun hits something wrong. But this job didn't just pay in coin, it paid in something far darker. You've watched a man swing an axe for coin and community rejection. Here's the question that matters. Could you take the job that pays well but costs you your soul? Drop a comment. The executioner's ghost wants to know. Death pays better than most people realise. Your official salary covers the basics, but the real money comes from your side businesses. Medieval towns don't waste resources, and your unique skills open doors that stay closed to everyone else. You're the town's official torturer when the magistrate needs confessions. The rack, the thumbscrews, the hot irons. Your knowledge of anatomy makes you efficient at extracting information without accidentally killing the prisoner before trial. This work pays by the session, and desperate magistrates pay well for results. Corpse handling becomes another revenue stream. When plague strikes or criminals rot too long in the gibbet, you're the one who removes the bodies. Nobody else wants this job, which means you can charge premium rates. Death has a smell that follows you home, but it also has a price that feeds your family. Here's where things get interesting. Your anatomical expertise makes you the town's unofficial medical practitioner. People won't socialise with you, but they'll pay you to set their broken bones. You know exactly how joints move and where tendons attach because you've separated so many of them. Your surgical skills, learned through dismemberment, become healing tools for desperate patients. The medical practice creates bizarre situations. The same woman who crosses herself when you pass her in the market will sneak to your door when her husband breaks his arm. She won't look you in the eye, but she'll pay your fee because you're the only person in town who understands human anatomy well enough to fix what's broken. You also sell body parts and blood for folk remedies. Human fat was considered premium medicine for joint pain and skin conditions. The blood of executed criminals supposedly cured epilepsy. Pieces of the hanging rope brought good luck. You turn every execution into a pharmacy, selling bits of the condemned to cure whatever ails the living. Irony check. The man banned from church became the town's best healer. Tell me that's not medieval logic gone wild. The art of crowd-pleasing executions requires reading your audience like a performer. Quick, clean deaths for popular criminals who earned some sympathy. Drawn-out spectacles for child killers and rapists who deserve the crowd's hatred. You adjust your technique based on the crime and the community's mood. A merciful executioner builds goodwill. A theatrical one builds reputation. Botched executions destroy careers and sometimes lives. Miss your swing and need 3 chops to sever a head, and the crowd turns ugly fast. They came for justice, not butchery. Your reputation for clean work isn't professional pride. It's survival insurance. Word travels between towns, and executioners with reputations for messy work find themselves unemployed, or worse. Some executioners save enough money to buy their way into other professions. They purchase shops, invest in property, or pay bribes to join respectable guilds. Others work until they die, either from old age or angry mobs. There's no pension plan for the executioner's trade. You work until you can't. Then you hope your savings last longer than your enemy's memories. Retirement planning means preparing your replacement, usually your son. The knowledge transfers through demonstration and practice on condemned criminals, who won't complain about amateur technique. Your boy learns the trade by watching you work, then graduates to handling the rope while you swing the axe. The crowd's roar fades to nothing as your axe rises. The screaming that filled the morning air like a living thing now holds its breath. This moment always feels the same. The weight of the blade, the tension in your shoulders, the knowledge that one clean swing separates you from disaster. The axe falls. The crowd roars. Justice is served, and you're the instrument that served it. You made peace with your own damnation so the town could sleep easier at night. If you want to see how another medieval outcast survived in a world that needed them but never wanted them, just know this: history has more outcasts waiting in the dark.